and hello, and welcome to Uptown Tonight. It is October 5th. I can't believe we're into October already. And it's probably going to be the last nice day of the fall, knocking on wood. I hope that's incorrect. It's supposed to get colder by tomorrow, but it was a beautiful day out. I took the dog for a walk and all that other fun stuff. So, thank you for joining us with Uptown Tonight. It's the FM Area's weekly podcast where we believe that a rising tide does raise all ships. If you can like, subscribe, and do all that fun stuff down below, comment, and share with all your friends, that'd be great. We'd definitely love that. I'm your host, Mr. Wayne Stallenbacher, or Discount Tom Cruise, or Tom Brady. I was called Steve Jobs once. I still don't get that one. But, you know, whatever. However it works out. Today we're with Mr. Michael Carbone. Yes, the one, the only. And, this is going to be really exciting, because I know this guy's got stories to tell. But first, we got to talk about me, because I'm boring and everything else, so I got to torch you with that first. So we're going to get on to, that is correct. That's why I put this stuff on here first, is that we do have our JoJo Mayer giveaway from our Peter Niblok podcast from a couple of months ago. So if you can name Peter Niblok's first drum set he ever purchased, first one he ever purchased, uncannily, his first drum set I ever purchased myself. And you can just put that in the comments below or on the chats or wherever else you got it, and then we'll figure out a way to get it to you. I actually bought this out of Drummer's Journey, and that's a funny story in and of itself. It was mainly because I found it at a thrift store, and I thought it'd be a cool giveaway to do because it was only like $2 there. And at the day of, literally hours before Peter was coming into the studio, my dog decided he was going to be jealous of me, and that was the only thing he took and destroyed. Which I don't know how he figured that one out. That was the only thing I was worrying about that day. But yes, took it and destroyed it, little guy. And we'll have a picture of him in just a moment. As soon as I find my slides. What's going on here? Here we go. Ding. I guess I don't know what I'm doing. That's all right. Oh, that's what I'm doing. Ding, da, 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 da. We just got to go there. Oh, yes, we do have Uptown merch. So we're at the Windbreak this weekend, so find us at Windbreak. And you get yourself a nice Uptown t-shirt. Just find us on the stage out there. And there's ZB's. He doesn't look like that anymore, does he, Michael?
No.
No, he's kind of... That was just a little over a year ago.
He's a little bit bigger now.
Just a tiny bit bigger. Okay, we got to get your volume up there a little bit. And then there's Cito. He's hugging old Junior. Junior's hanging out there. So you'll see Junior on the stage at Windbreak as well. He's the one basically peddling all of our merch for us, our whole shirt. And last weekend, we were at the Diamond Lounge up in Grand Forks for 2 nights. Now, the stage looked like it was a good time. It was the Diamond Lounge. We had people there. We had dancers. We had all the fun stuff going on. So that was our weekend. And then I also got the Mustang cleaned out again so I can get out there and start working again. So hopefully by next week, I'll have my Mustang Minute going. But you know what? Enough about me. I'm boring. Let's get to Michael. Michael, how you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, I'm happy that you're on here. I was kind of nervous to ask you myself because I was just like, man, this guy's one of the legends in this area. Would he really want to come down and just sit in my basement on the couch and do a podcast with me? And I don't think he even second thought it. Just said, yeah, sure. And we got all set up and here we go. So we need to know the Michael Carbone story. Where'd you come from? Besides your mother.
My mother gave birth to me at Walter Reed Army Hospital in Washington, D.C.
Oh, wow. Really?
65 years ago. I'm an old guy. I've been around a long time. But my drumming story started, about 55 years ago, 57 years ago. I actually found, when my mother passed away, and I was going through her things, I actually found in an old purse of hers the receipt from my first drum set.
Oh, what was your first drum set?
It was a Ludwig Jazzette.
Beautiful.
Mahogany. It was purchased for under $300 at DeVos and included 10 drum lessons.
$300 and 10 drum lessons.
10 drum lessons.
That is awesome. What year would that have been?
That was, I think 1967, 1966, something like that.
Right in the Ludwig craze.
Yeah, absolutely. And I didn't get all 10 drum lessons.
Oh, really?
I got 8 of them And my teacher, whose name was Jay Johnson, this was in Jamestown.
Okay.
And he went off to the Newport Jazz Festival just to attend. And he called me from Newport and said, "I'm sorry, I'm not coming back." He said, "I got asked to sit in on an after party gig, and now I'm going on tour." So,
wouldn't that be nice, huh?
Wouldn't that be nice? Yeah. So
that was your drum teacher out of Jamestown?
Yep.
So that's where you purchased everything, right?
Yep.
Because you'll have to explain, like, I don't, what'd you say, LeBray's? Is that what you said?
DeVoe's was
DeVoe's, that's it.
Yeah, music shop. And
you have to explain that one. I know Marguerite's, but that's about
yeah,
it.
DeVoe's was early competitor. They were a chain store.
Okay.
And they did band instruments, for the schools and that kind of thing.
So kind of like an Eckroth or Schmidt.
Yeah, exactly.
What was the one before that?
Oh gosh, I don't know, but they were in that range of stores, and they were a great store, but early competitor of Marguerite's, and yeah, that's why I'm only like 4/5 of a drummer. I only got 4/5 of my lessons. So.
Terrible, but still 10 lessons with $300. I paid $300 for my first kit, and it didn't look like much, but I really wish I had it back. But I can't say what it is because I didn't give away the JoJo Mayer thing. Maybe you want to take a shot at it, even though I'm not entirely sure if you really want to get
no. I would have a fail on that one.
So, what got you into music in the first place?
Love music. When I was a little kid, well, my mom was a jazz pianist, and she, kind of helped herself through college playing piano. And so I grew up listening to old Nat King Cole and all kinds of stuff like that. And it's just in my blood. And I always loved it. And I'd never known anything else but listening. And when I was a young kid, I would, just like a lot of young drummers, sit on the kitchen floor and bang on your mom's pots and pans. And
that never happens.
And, right. And so, basically, that just grew into banging on real drums.
Oh, so serious. So basically, you just had, your parents even saw that you had this love for drumming, and they went out and got you. Did you pay for that, or did they?
Oh, they did. They were very supportive, and they could afford to support me, so they did. And they allowed the garage band, basement band thing in our house, and put up with a lot of early, not so good music, but always improving.
You got to start somewhere. I know. I keep wondering how my parents put up with it, but then this house was kind of anarchy back in the day, so yeah, a lot of strange things happened here.
Yep.
So basically, that was around 67, correct?
Yep.
And were you taking? Well, you took the 8 lessons, but now you're doing anything in school with music?
Or? Oh yeah, for sure. Did the whole school band thing, school orchestra.
On percussion?
Yes. Marching band, all that. Piano lessons too.
Nice.
And had some other friends that I played guitar that I would jam with and stuff. And, they would come over. We'd play at their house. They'd play at my house. Still play with some of those guys.
Isn't that crazy how that works?
Yep.
These just old friends from back in high school, or I don't even know. Did you start playing in junior high then, the drum set, or that?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, junior high, 6th grade.
Okay.
Yep. And then I had a period of time when I quit playing. Except as a drummer, you never really quit playing drums.
Unfortunately not.
Yeah, it's always in your head, your fingers, your toes, you're banging on stuff, but then took it up again and started playing professionally again right away. But I first went out playing gigs. Well, I suppose my first gig that I ever got paid for, I was probably 13 or so.
Man.
And it wasn't a real gig. It was me asleep in a lake cabin at 13 out at Leech Lake, and my parents out in a piano bar, and seeing a drum set on stage and a guy playing piano and saying to the piano player, "Our son can play that." And he said, "Go get him." And they came and they woke me up and said, "You got to come with us. There's a guy who wants you to play drums." And so they hauled me off, and I played with him for the rest of the night, about a set and a half.
Oh, beautiful.
And there was a tip jar on stage, and I'm sure he was getting paid, because he emptied the tip jar and gave me the full contents of the tip jar that night.
Oh, serious?
Serious.
Wow, he was really trying to set the hook in.
Yeah. And I went home at 13 with, I don't remember how much it was, about $20. And which at that time and that age, that seemed like a lot of money to me.
It still does.
And yeah, I was hooked, like you said, at that point.
Oh man, do you remember what tunes you kind of played there? Is it just jam or?
Yeah, it was old, 30s, 40s jazz tunes, some ragtime type stuff.
Gotcha.
And it was the kind of stuff that I had worked on in my 8 lessons, and
covered those bases. Good
right.
job.
So that worked out well. And then shortly after that, I got a call from a guy. I shouldn't say shortly, but a couple of years later, I was 15.
Okay.
I got a call from a guy whose name I didn't recognize. And he said, "I need a drummer." He said, "In Plentywood, Montana, this Friday."
What?
That's what I said. What? And he said, "You remember me?" And I said, "No." And he said, "Well, I was a student teacher and assistant band director when you were in 6th grade." And I said,
6th grade?
Yeah. And I said, "Wow, I don't remember." And he said, "Well, you were good, and somebody gave me your name and said that you've really come a long way. And I've lost my drummer, and I need a drummer for 2 nights out in Plentywood, Montana. And I really need you to come with me." And so I went out, and no rehearsal. He said, "I got charts." And so I climbed in the back of his van. It was 3 days. He called me on a Tuesday, and a Friday I'm in the back of his van, and he hands me the charts. They were trumpet charts. Yeah. And so we went out, and it was all, popular top 40 type stuff, and cheesy, kind of what I thought was cheesy, because I was at the Deep Purple phase of my life then.
Ah, yes.
But we played, and Montana was open till 2 a.m. then, and it was illegal for me to be playing in the bars. I was 15, but
it's only legal if you get caught.
Right. But I ended up playing every weekend with him for 2 years, starting at that age.
Man, you must have made an impression at the rightful 6th grade.
Yeah.
What in the world?
It was fun. It was Verl McDaniels and the Standby Blues, and they were around this part of the country. We played South Dakota, North Dakota, eastern Montana, western Minnesota for many years. He was around, went through a lot of drummers, but I was 2 years worth. My parents said, "You can do it, but your grades can't go down." So man, every Friday we climb in the back of that van and go out. But there were it was a lot different back then. There were all kinds of venues and gigs. There we had a lot of 6-nighters, we had 4-nighters, we had 3-nighters, we had 2-nighters. It was about 150 nights a year.
See, I'm just over here shaking my head. Man, that is my dream to get that back, even in this area. I know there's a few venues out in western North Dakota that still do like the 5-6-nighter thing, but nothing really. I haven't seen anything around here, at least. And maybe I get educated on that.
Well, the last thing that any of the bands I have been in that was close to that was when the M&J used to do 4 nights, but that's been a few years since they were doing that.
M&J was doing 4 nights.
Yeah, they
Wow.
were. That was a few years ago. But
Man,
that was grueling. I didn't have the energy for that. But we used to do that. That was in a band that I had for quite a few years called Warp Melon Blues Band. That was
I remember seeing that poster. Yes.
Yeah, hard driving rock and blues.
I remember seeing that one.
Yeah, that was good times.
Oh, so cool. So you're out with this band for 2 years, you said?
Yeah, about that.
Every weekend, basically?
Basically, we take about 2-3 weeks off every year.
2-3 weeks off. Man. That must have been a whole different time. You're 15, so that's 15 through... You're still in high school.
Right.
Through all this stuff.
Right.
Okay, so that's definitely an education right there.
It was.
So.
Yeah. That first night in Plentywood, that's first time I ever saw a lesbian kiss, So
that was in Montana?
That was in Montana. Yeah.
We're not so far behind the times, yeah.
Right. Right. So it was interesting. It was fun.
Oh my gosh. At the age of 15.
Yeah.
Cool. So what happened after that then? Did the band break up or did it
no. That band, in fact, it went until just a couple of years ago when Burl passed away.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Sorry to hear that, though.
Yeah, it was sad. But their drummer actually, at the time, got a hold of me to let me know that Burl was in the hospital and was on the decline and stuff. So I was very happy to have them reach out to me like that after all this time.
No kidding. We were talking about that before, is like how the whole community here is kind of like one big family.
Yeah. Which
I'm really happy to hear, because I know everyone I've brought down into the studio here has just been great. Everyone's always supporting each other and everything else. And hearing from Mike that everyone that he runs into is the same way. That's all. That's how it has to be.
Yeah.
And really how it has to be.
Yeah. Life is hard enough. Music business is hard enough. That
no kidding.
You start tearing each other down. Why make things harder?
No kidding.
It doesn't make any sense.
So what did you do then at the ripe old age of 17?
Well,
what drew you away?
I went to college up at UND.
UND?
Yeah.
Michael.
Yeah, I have no idea what was in my head. I didn't last long up there. I just went for 1 year. Didn't even finish out the year. But,
okay. That happens sometimes.
Yeah, it does.
So you up there for music then, or what was your...
Well, I was, but it didn't really attend school much. Attended a lot of parties and bad lifestyle choices, that kind of thing. So
that's what I say a college is for. It's the connections that you gather while you're there. So yeah, the parties are very, very important, I always say.
Right.
Very, very important. Because I lasted a year in Moorhead. I went to MSUM for a year, and then I transferred to the University of North Texas for a year and a half, and then all my money was gone. So I came back. I don't know why I came back, because do you know the Kellers at all?
Yes.
Like Dean Keller?
Yes.
Dean, Kathy? Yep. They're like my second family, basically. North. I used to hang out with them every day.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. Mike and Corey.
Yes. They offered me a room and everything in Austin when I was trying to move back to Fargo. And
yeah.
Kathy or Mikey, if you're ever watching this, Corey, I made a mistake. I'll just say that.
Yeah. Well, and Corey, of course, is playing with Sue Foley right now.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
that's right.
Sue is doing tremendous. And Marty Olson, the guitar player in my band, as when those guys were kids coming up and playing the coffee houses and stuff, Marty would go jam. Yeah, Marty would jam with them quite a bit.
Yep.
And Mike, when he's around, jams with us quite a bit, and comes out and plays at, sits in at our gigs. And Mike's just a tremendous player. I've got a huge amount of respect for his maturity of his guitar playing.
Well, I got stories about Mikey.
I bet you do. And I love sitting at the drum drum set when Mike's playing guitar.
Oh yeah, it's brilliant.
Yeah.
Yeah, last time he was up here, we went to somebody's house. I don't know who it was, and did like some jam in their basement. And then Mikey, and I was like, it was before COVID, so oh, it must have been about 3 or 4 years ago now. But man, yeah, I forgot about that because I haven't really jammed with him for like maybe, God, it's probably been over a decade before that.
Sure.
Since I actually instrumentally played. Now we've caught up a few times, but yeah, that's about it.
Well, and Mike, his resume has gotten so thick, so deep. I mean, the stuff he's done is just amazing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
brilliant guy. Now trying to get it. Well, we had him scheduled on the podcast, but we had some issues that we just couldn't make it work right. So
sure,
he'll be on here at some point. So.
Well, my bass player Tim Jorgensen is.
Oh, Tim. Oh, yeah, I know Tim.
Yeah, Tim is their original bass player.
Yeah, the Keller Brothers band.
Yep.
And
so.
But enough about the Kellers. Let's get back to you.
Okay.
So at the ripe old age of 17, what happened?
Well, I started playing around Jamestown when I was still in Jamestown. Yep. and had not gone up to Grand Forks yet. Started playing with a guy named Ken Gilbertson.
Okay. And
Ken is kind of an interesting story. He lived down the hill from me. Jamestown's not like Fargo. Jamestown's hilly.
Just a little bit.
And I lived on the top of a big hill. Ken lived down at the bottom of this big hill. And I'd play my drums, and I'd hear this guy playing the guitar, and damn, he was good. And I thought to myself, I'd like to play with that guy. And I played guitar with this other guy, and he was all right, but it just wasn't quite what I wanted. And I said to him one guy, you hear that guy? Damn, he's good. And he goes, oh, I know that guy. And I said, you do? And he said, yeah. And I said, well, introduce me. So he did, and Ken and I hit it off as friends, but as musicians, and ended up in garage band together and played together for a while. And then I had a band called Fat Jack. And then I drifted off from that when I went out to college and played with some guys up there. But Ken, kept right on going and formed some very successful bands in Jamestown. And I had a band in Grand Forks that that's another story. But Ken and I have drifted in and out over the years playing together. And you found a video of the Ringers with Keith Johnson and so on, but Ken's in that band and actually wrote all those songs and so on.
Oh, very cool.
And Ken and I still get together once in a while and play. And in fact, I hired Ken to play guitar recently on an East Coast tour with Sean Holt and the Teardrops. And so, we've just sort of drifted in and out over the years, but remain very, very close. And I ended up in a band in Grand Forks, and we were practicing in a church, and it was guys I didn't really know. And one morning, knocked on my door very early in the morning from the police. And
those are always the best ones.
Yeah, and the police said, you know this guy? And I don't even recall the name right now. And I said, well, yeah, I do. And they said, well, they started asking me about all this gear, and all the gear that this guy had was stolen from Davy B. And it's like, oh man. And the guy had skipped out and taken all the gear, and luckily he didn't take my gear, because we were all storing our gear together in a church up in Grand Forks, and the church was nice enough to let us store our gear and use one of their halls to rehearse in, and it was on the UND campus, and it turned into a nightmare. But it was a pretty good band while it lasted. But anyway, that was a fiasco.
Stolen gear from Davy B.
Stolen gear from Davy B. So
Fargo. So I'm not going to get into that. I'll just leave that one alone. But still,
right, yeah.
How long was that band together then? Just a couple of months there?
Just a few months, right?
Okay, so did you play any shows then with all that stuff?
We were just getting ready to.
Oh, I got you.
But we were doing some cool stuff, Blue Cheer, and stuff that I really liked playing. I mean, it was awesome, awesome music. But maybe what's that old lyric in music comes out better on a stolen guitar? I mean, maybe there's some truth to that. I don't know, but
maybe so. The edge is there, yes.
Yeah, right. But it was not a good ending at all.
No, that one's too good.
No.
The police knocking at your door asking about,
Yeah, asking about your guitar player's gear. But I never saw the police again, never saw the gear again, never saw that guy again. And so as far as my ending to that story goes, it was fine.
That was then.
Yep.
The chapter was closed. Then you moved on. Where'd you go to then?
I went back to Jamestown after that, and that was when I kind of drifted out of playing for a while.
Really?
Met my wife, got married, got into all that kind of thing. My drum
gets in the way.
My drums sat in the corner, blah blah blah. But then I eventually got back into playing again. I remember I had a son. My son was 5, and I told him I got some. I sold my drums, got some drums. That you've heard that story from a million guys over the years. And I told my son,
next lifetime, I'm playing flute.
Right.
Drum thing. Oh my god.
I told my son, no, I'm really rusty. I don't even know if I can play anymore. And got some drums, set them up, played them, and the eyes popped out of his head like, holy.
Dad knows something.
Yeah. And I thought to myself, yeah, this is kind of cool. Maybe I should get serious about this again. And just kept right on going. I hooked up with a college professor from MSUM who was a very good guitarist named David Klein. He's not around anymore.
I know that name though.
Yeah, he was
recognizable.
He and I formed Warped Melon.
Aha!
And we got Marty Olson involved.
Okay.
And then Marty and I have been playing together ever since that time. And Dave and I formed a side project called Erzatz Jazz, which was a duet that did everything from Peggy Lee to, to Traffic to King Crimson. And it was a duet, but we used loops and MIDI tracks and all kinds of stuff. So sometimes.
Seriously, what year was this?
Oh man, this was maybe 15 years ago.
Wow!
All that technology was pretty new at that time.
Yeah, I would imagine.
And
I'm just kind of getting my head wrapped around all that stuff right now.
Yeah. Well, and I tell you, it was a duet, but it was 80% Dave, with the loops and MIDI tracks, and we were pretty busy gig wise. But then Dave moved on. He didn't get tenured at MSUM, so he went to another university, and I was like, whoa, Jesus, I need more gigs. And so I got a hold of another friend, Randy Shrink, and asked him if he wanted to get a project going, and we formed the Blue Wailers, which wasn't anything close to what Erzatz Jazz was, and was kind of more traditional acoustic blues, and we needed some help, so we got Marty involved, and then Warped Melon sort of gradually fell by the wayside, and the Blue Wailers became kind of a legacy band to Warped Melon, and we got a little bit more traditional in our approach to the blues, less less rock tinged.
Gotcha.
And
was that just playing to the strengths then, or was that just kind of like just where the audience was at?
Yeah, no, it was more playing to the strengths, and
Okay.
I think the audience would have been a little bit more interested in the rock approach that Mort Mellon had, but Randy was, and Marty too, more of a purist approach, and so that's what we went for. We were more concerned with the art of it than the commercial aspects of it, and so that's what we did.
Gotcha. And that's still going to this day, correct?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I was checking out your website a little bit, and I didn't see any dates. I'm just like, I'll have to ask you about that, but I'll ask you about that later.
Yeah, and we kind of neglect our website and have been using our personal Facebook pages more than anything.
Yeah, I wonder. Because I know we have our website too, but I think all the traffic just goes through all that, the fancy apps now.
Right.
Instead of that.
The last gig we did was about 3 weeks ago, maybe a month ago, and that was a veterans event up at University Park in Grand Forks. And then we did Dempsey's, I think it was a week before.
Oh, there you go.
And the Blues Fest, of course, and that kind of stuff.
Very good. Oh, geez. Man, we've already gone for over half an hour. Did you know that?
God, no wonder I'm so tired.
No, so I'm going to get to the weekly report here real quick. So I'm going to ask you this question here, and this one question only. It's just that I'm not going to say which band, but which... I'm trying to figure out a way to word this correctly so I don't sound like too much. But if you could go back to a certain period of when you were playing, which period would it be? Where were you having I won't say the most fun, but it was the most challenging and the most just satisfying for you? And we'll let you stew on that while I get to the old weekly report here. So, Cito, we miss you, man. All right, we're going downtown right away. Dempsey's open mic night tomorrow at Gina Powers, and Righteous Songs is on Friday. We're going to the aquarium and the Bad Hat with Kiss the Tigers on Friday. And then DJ Love and Hat and Dub is on Saturday. We're going to BFW at Equations. Going to be there Friday and Saturday night. Don't miss that one. And Rick's Sunset Trip will be out there on Friday the 7th. And then the Spirit Room, we got Max Jump tonight, probably hitting the stage right as we speak here. Then we're going out of town. The original in Minot, Northtown will be striking the stage there on Friday and Saturday, the 7th and 8th. Then we go to Laughing Sun Brewing and Bismarck Bandan, our favorite brewing company in the Bismarck Bandan area. We have Mike Swenson and Brian Gray tomorrow night, the 6th, Four Feathers on Friday. Then the Pross Hungary, Big Hungry show on Saturday the 8th. At Average Joe's in Parshall, we got Cold Sweat and Smoking Joe tomorrow night. And at the Hardwood, this is great to see this come back. Hardwood Bar and Grill at Hardwood, we had Jason Bruin on Saturday the 8th. That's the first one we've done this year for that. That's Zorba's at Detroit Lakes. We have the Fat Cats on Saturday the 8th as well. Then going uptown to Windbreak, we got some shitty cover band tomorrow night on Ladies Night the 6th. And then, what's that weirdo band Uptown that we hit in the stage there on Friday the 7th. And then Rains will be on Saturday the 8th. Rounding out the weekend, Shooting Star in Monoma. We got Runaway, I can speak. June's Mustang Lounge on Friday, Saturday, 7th and 8th. And Southtown Poorhouse in Grand Forks, we got Rains again. You can see where they're doing their little mini tour through here. And then Tack, we got the Meat Rabbit Polka Band. I love the name of that. My favorite name on this whole thing. So it's on Friday, so the Tack go out and see the Meat Rabbits in their polka band. Then we go to the Downtown Acoustic Corner. Tonight we have Rachel Iraniro is going to be at the Murphy's Pub. It's a couple blocks from here on Thursday. Tomorrow night we got Mike Morris at Midtown Tavern, and Jim White at the Roundup Saloon. Samantha and Chris Ellingson at the Unwind. And then Rachel Iraniro is going to be at JC Chumley's, making her way around the area. On Friday, we got Mick Klein at Tailgaters, Jim White at West Acre, Sean Mitchell and Mike Holtz at the Swing Barrel, Rick Adams will be hitting it at VFW in West Fargo, and Michael Pink at the Silver Spike. In downtown, once again, we got the Front Street Tap Room, Vinyl and Vino tomorrow night. And then next Monday, we have open mic night with Travis Nieros on Monday the 10th. And at the Cellar, we have open mic night tonight with Mark A. Belcher. And then Trish Cook, Rob Rez Report Fairbanks, and John Roberts will be hitting the stage on Friday. So some good comedy happening out there. Patrol Lounge, you got Darren Wentz on Friday, and then Darren Quam, the weekend of the Darrens at Patrol Lounge on Saturday. Fargo Brewing Company, we have Props Big Hungry Show. You can see where they're coming from. Bismarck to Fargo in a couple of days, or Friday the 7th. And then the Delta 42nd, we have Kathy Brecky and the 42nd Street Jazz Band on Thursday nights. And that's what we got at least for this week on the Weekly Report. All right, let's get back to Michael Carbone. Now, era that you're having the most fun and or most challenging and or more satisfying.
Boy, that's really a hard question.
Exactly.
That's why you asked it.
Yep.
I really like doing original material. And so
I'm with you.
With the Ringers, it started out doing kind of some prog rock original stuff that Ken Gilbertson wrote, and it kind of evolved to doing more covers. And I really was sad as we moved into the covers, and really enjoyed doing the writing and the prog rock stuff. And that was kind of the same with Ersatz Jazz with Dave Klein.
Gotcha.
A lot of the stuff, and then Dave would spring stuff on me. we
you gotta love it when they do that.
Yeah, Dave. I mean, he'd sit there and he would literally do this. He would turn to me and say, "This one's in 13/8," and then he would just start. And I'd have a WTF moment, and then I would just have to jump in and go. And you can kind of hate that or love it, and I would embrace it and just go for it. And I love those moments.
I'm trying to break that down, be like a 4/4 followed by a 7/8. It's just crazy.
Yeah,
that's prog rock for you.
Right. And I mean, and you would just do it, and it may have been terrible, it may have been great.
Well, I'm sure it was interesting, at least for someone like me. Yeah.
There you go. It was interesting.
Yeah.
And so I always enjoyed that stuff, and I've never had to play to make a living. I've always played to pay for my gear and to supplement my income.
Gotcha.
And so I've never been afraid to take a risk, When you play to make a living, then you're playing those covers, you're playing those hit songs, and you're doing that night after night after night.
Yep.
And that, to me, can be somewhat boring. It can be fun and exciting and all that, but it gets a little old. And for me, I like the more creative aspects of the art.
Oh, I know what you mean there. Basically, when I started off at least doing the band thing, we played a bunch of covers. This room has heard a ton of covers. This is my drum room way back in the day. I grew up in this house. But so the first bands I were in were all original stuff. So writing originals, recording, trying to get all that stuff going and everything else. But now I'm older and doing this cover thing. Granted, some nights, it feels like a grind because you're just going through the same old stuff over and over and over again. But I'm enjoying the cash a lot more than what the original stuff I don't ever bring up.
Right.
So that's just me.
Well, and the thing with the covers, you got to get them right.
Yep, you definitely do.
And you got to do them well. And there's a challenge to that. And there's skill involved in that, and there's no belittling that, but there's a creativity to writing your own material that's gratifying.
Yeah, it's much more satisfying. I totally agree with that.
Yeah.
But cool. All right, so let's get into what you're doing these days. So I'll let you bring us on to this whole drummer's journey thing. Now, granted, to me, it was a huge surprise. The last drum shop I saw here was Rit Drums. I don't know if you remember that one. I'm trying to remember the name of the guy. Was it Scott Peterson or something like that?
Yeah,
Am I
I'm
even
not
close
sure.
to the name of him?
Yeah.
But yeah, it was kind of close to where you're at. It's by where the Tasty Freeze is, and there's like I think some bong shop or something below it, but it used to be up there. And that was the first drum lessons I ever took, like drum set lessons, other than from the band teacher. And that's where I bought my second drum set because my yeah, I can't tell what my first one is still, but yeah, my second one was a Pearl, basically like a form series, and probably pre-form. But yeah, I thought my drum set was just ugly, so I traded it off for $50 and then bought this Pearl because it was nice and shiny and black for 300. And I really wish I had my first one. I won't say he took me for a ride on there because probably at that time it was worth that much, but oh my gosh, that thing's worth so much more now.
Sure. Well, I retired. I used to be a nonprofit director.
Beautiful.
And that was all about helping people. But I retired. Had the opportunity to retire a little bit younger than most folks.
Okay.
And retirement was a little boring, and thought, let's open a drum shop. That wouldn't be boring.
Yeah, that definitely wouldn't be boring. Oh, man. I brought that up for probably at least 10, 15 years. I've been talking to people trying to get one going. But I'd have to, like, conglomerate with a lot of people to get it going.
Sure. Well, I have my sister's involved, so as an investor.
Oh, okay.
So it's, but I opened a drum shop, and there's definitely a need. And the need is not just in Fargo Moorhead. The need's for hundreds of miles around. And my sister came up with the concept of drummer's journey.
Okay.
And because it is a journey, as we all know, and it's the journey from your first lesson to becoming a touring pro or a church drummer or a hippie playing a djembe in the park or a percussionist, a serious percussionist or whatever it is. And it seemed like people who had attempted a drum shop before thought everybody wanted to be Neil Peart or something like that.
You said it correctly. Thank you.
Yeah.
This guy knows what he's talking about. There's definite street cred here.
and so we realized that the world of drumming is really big. It's really broad. There's all kinds of ethnic drums from all around the world. There's all kinds of drummers, and so we wanted to serve that community. And whether it be in trying to pick out your first set of sticks in your pad, or whether it be setting up your Neil Peart drum set. and so that's what we focus on, is serving the drumming community and not trying to determine how much money is in your wallet and selling you for double that amount.
Oh, man.
The upsell in our store is, oh, well, now you've got the kit that suits your needs. Now you need a pair of sticks and a book, or now you need, just the little things. And then
a JoJo Mayer video.
A JoJo Mayer video. And so what we set out to do is serve you throughout your entire journey and create lifelong customers. And it's worked out really well so far. We've got a top-notch teacher in our shop. We've got a top-notch teaching facility. We've got a great online presence. We've shipped product off all over the United States, to Mexico, to Canada. We've had inquiries from Brazil, from Australia. We haven't shipped to Brazil or Australia.
Not yet.
Not yet. But we are really about serving drummers and uplifting. And, you and I kind of had this conversation already about uplifting others and
exactly, yeah.
And making life better for other people. So the first thing we do when you come into our shop is we ask you questions. We find out where you're at and what you need and what you're interested in and where you are on your journey, and then we try to help you and not try to figure out how much money we can get out of your wallet to to make our journey better.
No. But you're going to get plenty of my money, I'll tell you that.
Well, okay, I'm done here now. Bye.
I love that. No, I mean, that store is awesome. You've got your new location here, and like I was talking to you about before, it's just like the presentation you walk in, you just got that hallway that goes, not hallway, it's just that walkway that goes back to like where what do you call it? I wouldn't call it a kiosk, but
we call it the bridge.
The bridge, okay. Yeah, but it's just that, and it's like just to the right and to the left. It's just, it's a candy store. If you're a drummer or even a guitar player, just go check it out. It's freaking incredible.
Yeah.
So that's me gushing over Drummer's Journey.
Right on. Right on. Yeah, appreciate that.
Oh, not a problem. No, I was just so happy to see something like that again. You can actually go and try out sticks again. Oh my Lord! It's so much fun going on the old Steve Weiss or whatever's your flavor. Music 1, 2, 3, and just like, oh, these sticks look nice, and order 3 pair, hoping that they're not warped or anything. So, right, at least for someone like me, I mean, that's a beautiful thing. So, thank you for doing that, and thank you for getting all that. And I'm happy to see it growing all the time.
Yeah, it's been a real joy. I mean, it's still a struggle. Haven't quite hit our 3-year mark, and average retail store takes 5 years to become profitable. So we're still waking up at night going, God, I hope this works out, but it's been a real joy.
Again, knocking on wood.
Right on. Right on.
You got it. But we got some photos here. Let's get into that. Let's see. Oh, wrong one. Nope, not that one. There we go. I'll find my hotkey here quick. So, yeah, you sent a ton of photos, and it looks like there's a ton of history in here, so I'm really excited to hear what these are all about. Can you...
Okay, that is... I just, this summer, I had the opportunity to tour the East Coast with Sean Holt and the Teardrops. I was a Teardrop for a while, to more than just my wife and my mother. And that, if I'm looking at that right, that's a club in New York. And that is a famous blues club that's been around for a long time. People like Magic Slim have played there, Junior Wells, all the top blues artists in the world. And I had the good fortune to play there.
That's awesome.
And there's a kind of what they call the green room, which is really just a hallway off stage. And it's just plastered with signatures of legends. And my signature is on that wall as well.
Oh, nice. Immortalized.
Yeah. That looks like the Fargo Blues Fest.
Fargo Blues Fest.
And between Sean Holt and the Teardrops, the Blue Wailers, and Warp Melon, I think I've played that more than any other artist.
Oh, serious?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because just a lot of different opportunities to get up on that stage.
That's cool. Oh, the Foreigner thing. What's this all about?
Well, Randy Schrank, one of the founders of the Blue Wailers, and I played hand drums with a 20-voice men's chorus to open for Foreigner last spring.
Oh, serious? Oh, that's... I love it when these groups and whatever come through. Or something. Shania Twain used to come through, and then she would take like drum lines from like some of the high schools. So these drum lines got to go up with her on stage. I thought that was so awesome.
Yeah, this was so much fun. So there's 2 drummers and a men's chorus, and we were the opening act. You see a djembe on stage there.
Yep.
You see 2 of them actually, and one of them is a djembe that was made for me in the rainforest of Guinea.
Nice.
And it was made as a gift for some consulting work I did for a nonprofit that works over there that actually built a hospital in Conakry and does some feeding and some clean water work and so on. And so I used that djembe, and it's got my logo carved on it.
Oh, man.
And the song that we played was Africa by Toto. So it was a kind of a full circle thing for me. It just blew my mind to have that opportunity.
I was about to say that, like a full circle. That
Yeah.
is beautiful.
Yeah.
Did you get to play the gong at all?
No, I
didn't.
I didn't. But you know what was kind of interesting is that I was in the shop getting ready to leave to go up to Grand Forks, and the phone rang, and it was a representative of Foreigner saying that they needed to purchase some maracas.
Oh.
And that they would send someone down to the shop to buy them. But they had to do it right now, because it was getting late.
Yep.
And I said, "Oh, well, I'm on my way up to open for you guys. I'll just bring them." So I actually delivered some product to Foreigner as well as open for them on that evening. So
that's beautiful. Oh, man.
It was interesting.
It works together.
Oh, that's just some of my political work with Heidi Heitkamp and advocating for housing.
Oh, okay.
And that's Rich Redmond from Jason Aldean. And 3 weeks after we opened in our first location, we're in our second location now. We grew so fast we had to move into a larger location in the same mall. But 3 weeks after we opened, and this is pre-COVID, Rich Redmond contacted the store and said, "Hey, I'm going to be in your city in a couple of days. Would you like to do a master class?" And we said, "Oh, let me think about it." No, we said, "Hell yeah." And so he came, and we were a brand new store just getting set up, and Rich Redmond came and did a master class in our first location.
It's beautiful.
And he was great.
How deep into the blues do you want to go?
And if you notice, there's blue ocean waves, and then the red sky, which is in the shape of a 335, Gibson 335. And
oh, I never noticed that. I got
see
you.
that?
Yeah.
See that whale tail making the
F hole.
Making the F hole, exactly. John Hutchinson, a blues guy out of Detroit Lakes, designed that for us.
That's awesome. Yeah.
He's also a graphic artist, very skilled fellow.
Wailers.
That is the Arts Park in Jamestown.
Okay.
And we play there every year for their summer series. Are told we're the highlight of the season.
You should be, yes.
They say that to all the guys.
Yeah.
And another view of Rich Redmond and the master class. Let's see. That is Madam's Organ, which is a bar restaurant in Adams Morgan in downtown Washington, D.C. One of the wildest places that I've played in a long time. You basically drive by, throw your stuff out as you drive by the club because you can't park, and then you go in and play. It is a standing room only club, college bar, but it's actually a blues bar. I don't see too many college bars that are blues bars.
No, you wouldn't think so.
And when we played there, they had last call about 15 minutes earlier than usual because the guy ended up lying in a pool of blood on the floor.
Oh, no.
Yeah, the cops did an investigation, determined it was not a homicide, but rather an accident. But it was the negative point of our tour with Sean Holt last summer. It was a great night up until that last moment, and the guy just fell and nailed his head hard, and it was a sad ending. But that was, of course, before. But I never saw a bar empty out faster than that place.
Is it all because of that incident, or yeah? Oh man, that is not cool.
But it was a great gig, great night. It's a wonderful club, but just crazy in there.
That was on your East Coast tour.
Yep. Let's see, what is that? I can't see too well.
Let's see if I can make this bigger.
Oh yeah, I know what that is. That is a juke joint in Tallahassee, Florida. That was one of the probably second night of our tour. And that
second night?
Yeah.
So you start south and go north then?
Yep. We actually started in North Carolina, then went to Florida, and then went north from there.
Oh, okay.
But that is a real deal juke joint where you drive several miles down a one-lane dirt road to get to this place. And there you got everybody playing there, from the Canadian Cajun band Downchild to Bob Margolin to Indigenous to just everybody. And we played there. I got to sign their Wall of Fame there as well. Every seat in that place faces the stage. It's not big. All the cooking is done outside on a smoker.
Oh man!
So you either get catfish or brisket.
That authentic, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it is truly authentic. All the tables are painted with blues artists. The walls got all blues artists painted on there. My name is on the Wall of Fame right next to Bob Margolin.
Again, immortalized right there. Yes.
Yeah.
That's sweet.
That place was fun. Yeah, you can see like Kim Wilson. You know, those are the kind of guys that are playing there. Oh, Heidi again. I don't know why I put her in there. There's some of the art on the walls from some of the different artists that have played there.
That's cool. That is really cool. That's all hand painted, right?
Yep. Yeah, you can see Charlie Musselwhite. Fargo Blues Fest again.
Back at the Blues Fest.
That is the fellow Emmanuel Dore, and he's the fellow from Africa that I work with. And we're actually working on perhaps, I won't say much about this, but perhaps importing a container of djembes to distribute nationally.
Gotcha. I'll have to get in on that action. But cool, yeah. We probably have like a whole nother hour we could talk about what you're doing here, at least with that. That nonprofit.
Yeah, and that man right there is one of the most remarkable people I've ever met in my life.
That's awesome. Sean Holt.
Yep, and that's the New York City Club. Again, Terra Blues.
And there we go.
That is me in the Fargo Civic Center opening for the Guess Who.
Oh, serious. Nice.
Yeah.
What year was this? Couldn't have been too long ago.
It was 6 years ago, maybe.
6 years?
Yeah, maybe 7. I don't know for sure.
Okay.
Maybe 5. Literally 30 plus below zero that night.
Ah.
And I got some cracks in the lacquer finish of those drums that night.
No. Yeah, that's why I got my $300 beater that I drag around. Yeah, she's taking a few.
Yeah, more Blues Fest.
There we go.
And that's Randy sitting down there in the foreground.
And I see Tim in the middle there. And
yeah, and Marty. And Bob on the harp.
We got a video of that. Well, not this part, but yeah, of him playing.
Yeah.
That's you back in, that's Jamestown, right?
Yeah.
Now, what's the deal with these cymbals? You got all those markings on there, the Asian markings.
Well, I've got a line of cymbals that I sell that called Sentent. They're amazing cymbals that use B20 alloy, just like Zildjian and Sabian.
Okay.
and we can get all kinds of etchings on them. So if you want your band logo, your name, your autograph on them,
Seriously?
we can do it, and they'll build them right to your specified gram weight. We can get cheap alloy with your band logo on them for merch, for like, so your fans can get like a $10-15 splash symbol that they can take home.
Oh my word! Oh God!
Or
we gotta talk.
Drum room wall hangers, that kind of thing.
No kidding.
Yeah.
I didn't know there was such a thing.
And you should see my at-home kit with about 12.5 of those symbols.
Toys.
Yeah.
That's so sweet.
And that is the legendary Marty Olson with me at the Muddy Waters Blues Fest in Bismarck. Missouri River's right behind us.
Jam behind. Is that an 18 or a 20?
That's an 18.
18, okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to say 18, but I didn't want to be too confident with it.
That's a great drummer. John Aspirin, right before he moved up to New York, he's a real pocket player, that guy. Very, very quiet, subdued player, but very intricate grooves. And one of the nicest guys you could ever hope to meet. Super player.
Beautiful.
There's me hanging out with Little Ed from Chicago, Little Ed and the Blues Imperials.
That had to suck.
Yeah, that guy is a character. No. He's a good drummer, a better guitar player, and he's one of those guys that can play guitar and drums at the same time.
Oh, yeah.
And there, Sean Holt.
The teardrops.
And Sean is actually Magic Slim's son.
Oh,
and so
I did not know that.
Yeah, and so Sean Holt and the Teardrops, Magic Slim and the Teardrops. And Sean called me to play drums and put together a band to tour Canada with him. And I said, "Really?" And so we did. This is in Helena, Montana.
Okay.
But I've toured with Sean 4 times now. Had to turn one down recently because it coincided with my son's wedding. But Sean ended up getting sick and had to cancel the tour anyway. So that's feel bad about that. But Sean is an amazing musician. He's played in Africa, South America, all over Europe. International Blues Award winner, and just felt so honored to have him ask me. And he's pretty demanding.
As they should, yes.
Yeah, but he's a great stage communicator. Dynamics.
Yes.
Watch what he's doing, so you're on the right chord at the right time,
Gotcha.
And hell of a guy. He just turned 45. I used to tell him when he was 44, I used to say, "Sean, you're 44 going on 4," and he'd laugh and take it, But very, very nice man. Very, very prolific guitarist.
Man, it sounds like a hell of a gig.
Yeah. What is that?
DNG or ONG. No. It's like AFRIPD.
Oh, AFRIPD. This is the sign going to the hospital that we opened in Conakry, Guinea.
Oh, nice.
37-bed hospital.
So it's stuff to do with the nonprofit that you're working with or running, or
right? Yeah, I still do some nonprofit consulting.
Yeah, I'll have to bring you back on and talk all about that.
Yeah,
definitely. Used to run a nonprofit in town and just did marching percussion.
Sure.
That was a long time ago.
Okay. The night after we played in that little juke joint in Tallahassee, Florida, we played this in Charleston. And this is a bunch of millionaires who own fancy lake homes on the ocean. And this was a Blues Fest funded by an art society. So we go from the juke joint to the hoity-toity fancy millionaires who want to see blues.
I thought I was the only one to use that term, hoity-toity.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I guess I do too. And so it was, that tour was so interesting because we had that college bar, okay?
Yep.
We had that traditional
honky-tonk.
Yeah, that juke joint. We had this. We had that one in Manhattan that was the old style blues club. We did another supper club in Lehman, New York that was kind of a high-end blues club, but not like this, you know.
Man, the memories. Wow.
So what it taught me, because Fargo doesn't have any blues clubs. They have a few places that are somewhat friendly to blues, but Fargo's just not a blues town.
No, not really.
But playing with Sean taught me that there are all kinds of places that are blues places that are totally different from each other. College bars that are blues bars, juke joints in the woods that are real old-fashioned blues places.
Yes.
Old-style blues clubs in New York City, supper clubs in rural New York that are blues clubs. So blues is alive and well in the United States.
That is really good to hear. It is. And there you are.
Yeah, and that's at TAC Music Venue.
At the TAC? There we go. Oh, I should have recognized the lights, yes.
Yep. And you see our big banner behind.
Yep.
And there I am explaining homelessness and how to get out of homelessness, and you see that very indirect line.
It looks like a bunch of flies, yep.
Yep.
I suppose it's pretty complex. Oh, and there you go with the puppy.
Yeah.
What's the puppy's name?
Sophie.
Sophie. There we go.
She's 8 now. She's probably about 5 in that picture.
Good old Sophie. And then Todd Schukerman. Yeah, so you got to talk about this for a moment.
Yeah, Todd, as many of your drumming audience knows, is the drummer for Styx. Todd is one of the best rock drummers working today. Todd is also one of the best drum educators working today. And Todd does master classes all over the country, including at Drummer's Journey on October 25th. And he is, as I've been working with him to put this master class together, also one of the nicest guys you'd ever hope to meet.
Oh, that's great.
He's just a true gentleman. He's accessible. He's easy to deal with. We are so excited to have him come. He will be teaching a master class in our store on the 25th, which is a Tuesday, from 6 to 9. It is sold out, except for one spot.
Oh.
Which I will be giving away on the 14th and 15th of October in our store when we have our grand reopening.
Oh, nice.
So you can come in and sign up to win
I'll be there.
a master class with Todd Zuckerman. And the only thing required is 3 hours of attention span. The class is available to beginners to pro, and we have people who have signed up who are absolute beginners and who are working professionals and everywhere in between. Todd's only requirement is that you are a committed drummer and you have a 3-hour attention span. And that's what we've got lined up. We got people coming down from Canada, up from South Dakota, over from Minneapolis, and local folks who have signed up for this.
Excellent.
And they will not be disappointed. There'll be 2 drum sets set up face to face, one for students, one for Todd. Everybody's going to have a practice pad if they remember to bring their practice pad and sticks, and it's going to be 3 hours of interactive lesson from a master.
That's awesome. Yep, in a couple of weeks here. So you have only spot left open. We'll be giving away on the 14th and 15th at your grand opening, right?
Yep.
So yeah, definitely get out and get to that. I know I'm going to sign up for that one. So
absolutely,
absolutely. All right, I think that's all we got. Yes, we do for photos, but you know, we are running a little long. But I really want to play this one video that I was watching, and this I believe is you guys at Dempsey's.
Oh yeah.
So I think this is it. Yeah. So here we go. So I got to do a couple of fancy things here. There we go. This is the Blue Wailers, right?
Blue Wailers.
Baby caught a train, left me all alone. Baby caught a train, she left me all alone. You know I love her, she's doing me wrong. My baby bought a ticket, this one's my ride home. Baby bought a ticket, this one's my ride home. She said she's gonna ride me, but to wait so long.
Yep. That's Bob Waters on harp. Bob, he was probably the 4th member to join the Blue Wailers. Yeah, Bob's really developed his skills nicely. Yeah, and then we've got Kari Del Rio on piano. She's our newest member, youngest member. Very, very talented musician. She has very good call and response with Marty and guitar. Sometimes Marty and Kari and Bob do 3-way call and response. Don't see that much problem.
Tell me who's been talking. Tell me everything I
Just had to show that off for you. 'Cause I was digging that while I was getting all this stuff set up, so had to put that on there for you.
Right on. Appreciate it.
But we got to get to a little juvenile destruction. You ready for this week's Off the Roof?
Right on.
Yep. I know I always get that confused look. What are you talking about? Well, I'll explain it after you watch it. As you notice, my driveway doesn't quite look like that, so I haven't had any fresh ones. This one's kind of recycled. I'll explain it after the podcast. That one came right apart. Halloween. Pretty cool. Persian egg. That was perfect aim too. You're hired. Yep, so I'll have to explain this to you. Is that back in the day, because I grew up in this house, I bought it for my dad like 15, 20 years ago now. It's been a while. But yeah, the raging parties would happen, and inevitably someone would get on the roof and would be throwing random electronics out there just to watch everything smash in the driveway. Just keeping the tradition alive. It's all we're doing there.
There we go.
So if you have anything you want to, donate and see destroyed on the podcast, you definitely just throw it in my yard or wherever else, or just get a hold of me and we'll come pick it up for you too. So if you want to do that and all that fun stuff. But basically, you got anything left for the good of the order here?
All I'd like to say is thanks for having me. It's been a lot of fun.
Oh, it's been awesome. I know we just basically scratched the surface on what you've done, but yeah, just the touring thing from where you came from to doing the nonprofit stuff. Man, yeah, you lived a rich life.
Well,
we definitely need to explore it more.
Life is what you put into it, man. And if your life sucks, maybe you suck.
There's some words of wisdom right there.
But it's not always that way, because sometimes shitty things happen to people, and it's not their fault. So that's maybe a harsh thing I said.
It's fun. Take it with a grain of salt. It's for fun.
Right on.
So you can get a hold of us at Uptown Tonight Podcast at gmail.com or uptownbandfargo.com, and it has all of our band stuff and ways to get a hold of us on the podcast as well. We do have a bunch of links and stuff for my Carbone. I said it. So the Carbone. Link down below. All down below and all that other fun stuff. So remember, if your drummer's got more charisma than your front man, your band may be in trouble. But that's why my band's doing just fine. So until next time.